a prayer which is read by the Dalai Lama every morning for today's meeting. It is a prayer for humanity. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for this beautiful prayer. I will now request all of us present, if you have something to drink, could you please raise your glasses? Alternatively, you can put your hand to your chest and drink to the President of the Republic of Kenya.
To the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The meeting is now officially begun. I will now request all visiting Rotarians to kindly introduce themselves, and I will begin with President of Rotary Club of Nairobi, President Kingori.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. My name is President Kingori from RC Nanyuki. For the first time before the year ends, I've joined in to your meeting thanks to the online. I'm glad to be here. Yes, thank you so much, Ritesh.
Thank you so much. Please do convey our warmest regards to all members of Rotary Club of Nanyuki, and a very special Rotarian who logs on every week from America, Rotarian Perry.
Thank you, President Ritesh and fellow Rotarians. Again, it is always great to log into you from the turmoil of the U.S. And as Margareta will, we appreciate your prayers and concerns for our country. I do have one joyful thing to share. The Cheery Education Center this week received a PPE. And we've got them the funds and everything, so they have started just a couple grades with some students with proper PPE, and so we are very pleased to report that. But again, it's great to join you all, and I look forward to hearing from Anuja. This is going to be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Rotarian Perry, and it's always a delight to see you online supporting us on a weekly basis, and we look forward to working together. We have with us a very special Rotarian, our Assistant Governor Gugi, who is probably the most supportive Assistant Governor we've had. AG Gugi, would you please like to say a few words to your members, Rotary Club of Nairobi?
Thank you, President Ritesh, and fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure once again to be with you. We're now in the second quarter, and your first quarter was very tremendous. You achieved a lot. I recently saw the donation of masks that you did, and all I can say is congratulations and keep up the spirit. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Assistant Governor Gugi, and I'd like to give a wholehearted congratulations and thanks to all the members of the club, without whom we wouldn't be able to achieve all these milestones. Thank you to all. Do we have any visiting any more visiting Rotarians or guests? Not yet. Okay. In that case, I'm going to go towards announcements. Do we have any Rotarians with announcements to make? Okay. In that case, I will make two announcements. The Rotary District 9212 Cancer Awareness Initiative, which is chaired by Dr. Anne Van Lauwe. We are going to be having an online talk, cancer talk, which is going to be Speaking the Unspoken, which is going to take place on Friday, the 23rd of October, between 2 and 4 p.m. But earlier than that, the World Polio Day event online, the poster of which has been shared on our WhatsApp chat groups and via email, is going to take place this Saturday between 6:30 and 8:30 p.m. Zoom link and registration details will be shared. Kindly do log on. Thank you. And I will now request our sergeant for today, Rotarian Winnie, to kindly take over and carry out the sergeant duties.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I know this is my first time to do this, so kindly bear with me. Today we have a great speaker. That's Community Service Director, that is Rtn Anuja, who will be giving us information in regards to the projects that we have in RCN. As one of our main upcoming events as the Youth Service Committee, we shall be having a fruit tree planting, which will be held on the 21st November. And the Youth Committee has been working hand in hand with the Community Service Director in the first quarter. We are delighted to engage each and everyone in this event, which will be remembered as we shall be marking our 90 years anniversary as a club. We shall be planting 1,000 trees. So I'll briefly give a bit information about how do trees fit in Rotary's area of focus. Trees are good for economic and community development. They promote peace simply by giving people a place to sit in the shade and contemplate the world. Good for diseases prevention and treatment. We would like to demonstrate the importance of having trees in our communities and difference that they make to us. When is a tree like a Rotarian? All the time. And as Paul Harris said, he said it discovers trees talk to each other in a language of their own. How else could they flawlessly orchard the brilliant display of color that each fall without fail set New England ablaze? It seemed obvious in order to dazzle, the trees must first plant, they must plot, they must converse. So each tree, according to its species, is assigned its part. So today, I would like to request, as we have this fruit tree planting, we want RCNs to be a major memorial event, and this would like to challenge Rotarian Ashok's APS Jerusalem Challenge with RCN's Jerusalem Dance. And kindly, I would ask if I would like some volunteers. And if you're not wearing any green because of our fruit tree planting, I would like you to give your fine and asking everyone to contribute towards our SAA collection for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Winnie. We have the Jerusalem song playing in our minds.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And what a wonderful way to also appreciate the wonderful work you're doing hand in hand with Rotarian Anuja for the tree planting.
Yes.
Congratulations all. And yes, I'd encourage everyone to kindly contribute to SAA collections. The pay bill is going to be inboxed in the chat group. I now have the distinct honor, actually, to introduce our wonderful speaker for today. Our wonderful speaker is Rotarian Anuja Prasher, who I'm very proud to say is a member of Rotary Club of Nairobi. Anuja is a Kenyan, born in Kenya, lecturer in international business at KCA University, a mother of 4 daughters. Her educational record includes BA in economics, MSc in race and ethnic relations, and doctoral thesis focused on relational role of CSR in emerging economies, India and Kenya. The research focuses upon the role of CSR and the relationship between business, government, and third sector from a global South perspective. Over the past 2 years, Rotarian Anuja has served as Director of Community Services for Rotary Club of Nairobi, for which we are truly very grateful. Currently, also serving as Head of Food Hampers Distribution with Rotary District 9212 National Emergency Response Team during this COVID-19 crisis. Rotarian Anuja currently serves on the boards of Kilimanjaro Blind Trust Africa, East Africa region, the Batibabu Foundation in Kisumu, Arya Samaj Educational Board in Nairobi, and on Marketing Committee for CSR at Mutaiga Golf Club. Anuja writes for various monthly and weekly publications on issues related to globalization, social and economic inclusion, and corporate social responsibility. Rotarian Anuja is the founder and director of APP Consulting, applying excellence to cross-cultural exchanges by promoting increased cultural awareness and understanding. Anuja also serves as advisor to several national and international race and faith organizations and created and campaigned with Communities for Europe in EU referendum. Anuja's work on policy development is quite expansive. What I will also say here is Rotarian Anuja is someone who truly has a heart of gold. And we are truly blessed and grateful to actually even know her, let alone be part of this Rotary family with her. Rotarian Anuja, we welcome you to kindly give us a talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ritesh, President Ritesh. Thank you so much for that really extensive introduction. I wasn't expecting it. Thank you very much, and welcome everyone, especially our guests today. This really is a presentation of our projects and what Rotary Club Nairobi is doing, and in particular the time of COVID, but we're looking towards post-COVID. And one of the things that I want to say is that, you know, I don't know why I was never asked to be a Rotarian in my whole lifetime, and I had to come to Nairobi to actually become a Rotarian. And I realized that Rotary is really very much my heart. And thank you for saying that it's gold, because that's really how I feel about the Rotary Club. And it really came home to me how Rotary is fit for the 21st century. If I had been the CEO of Rotary Club, and it was my company, I would be absolutely blessed. You know, in the response, in the emergency response, I headed the distribution of food hampers. And that's when the structure, the process, and the people of Rotary actually made tremendous sense. And I realized how fantastic this organization is. It gave me the flexibility across the whole country to deliver to 60,000 people food hampers that would feed them for 2 weeks. You know, COVID paralyzed most businesses. It paralyzed a lot of different people, and people didn't leave their homes. I did all of this from my home. And why was it possible? Is because of the structure of Rotary Club, the flexibility, the way that they operate, and their partnerships with the rest of the world. And that's what enabled it. And that's what we need for the 21st century. I teach globalization. I talk about international organizations and how they network, and Rotary is fit for purpose. So we may be 90 years old and Rotary is over 100 years old, but it is fit for purpose for the next century. And so I'm really proud to be a Rotarian. That's what I want to state, and we'll talk about that at the end again, because where I'm taking you is what Rotary has done. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation with you. Yep, everybody can see that, I hope. All right. So I just want to talk about what's going on in our Rotary Club Nairobi today and where we're going in the future. and really how it's linked back to what I was talking about, the structures of what we're looking at. So my presentation is about the current status of our projects. We have our flagship projects, which are funded by the Nairobi Trust, our trust. And then we have district projects, and then we have global grant projects. The global grant projects sit under the International Projects Committee. I'm not quite sure what it's called, which is chaired by PP Sudesh. It's not really in my remit, but what, as community director, I look at and monitor and just keep aware of all the projects that the whole club is doing. Then we have projects that are proposed and we're waiting for approvals post-delivery. And then I want to talk a little bit about what the district is doing and the implications for that, for the rest of the, for us at the club level. So I'm just going to rattle through some of the highlights, if you like, of the projects that we're actually currently conducting and how they're going. So we have, first of all, the sanitation blocks at Jamhuri School. And this is a project worth 6 million shillings. And it's led by PP Remtula. And you'll see, now I can't read this, yes. He is now currently providing the new architecture, new costings for this project. And we're beginning to start this project off. You can imagine that COVID has actually really, as I said, paralyzed a lot of people. And Rotary is not unaffected by the fact that we can't go out and do things. But that doesn't mean we've been sitting waiting. We've actually been doing a lot of other things. So verifying the architectural features and ensuring that the projects are ready to go the moment we have the go-ahead. So PP Remtula has been leading on that. Then you have the GECO project, which is to deliver 10 GECOs, and our lead for that is Rotarian Atia, and she's called Mama GECO, and it's for a very special reason because she ensures that these GECOs get presented and are installed correctly. We have one GECO project that is absolutely just ready to go in Gashia, and this is in a church hall which feeds elderly and the disabled every Sunday, and they don't have a GECO. They're doing off little GECOs, and so this is a project that, even though it's not a lot of money by itself, you can see the cumulative delivery of 10 GECOs is 4.1 million. Then we have SCORE, and a real tribute to Rotarian Nelson, who has led this project for many years, and it's worth 1.25 million, where we supply mattresses and goods to young children at schools, and this is with the Canadians, in partnership with the Canadians, and everybody has been very, very satisfied with this. And next year we're actually going to go forward with increasing the number of students. So the Canadians are quite happy with the way that Rotary Club Nairobi has delivered this project. Unfortunately, but and this is in a natural state, that Rotarian Nelson is stepping down from this, and we're looking for a new lead. This is a very well organized and very structured project, and so if anyone wishes to experience the true Rotary, especially our new members, please do step forward and try to learn on the job, because I think Rotary is the only way you're going to learn about Rotary is by actually stepping forward and doing it. Rotarian Winnie has mentioned our tree planting. We have a new generation tree planting that was scheduled for last year, which wasn't delivered. And then we have our 1,000 fruit trees that was supposed to happen this year. And Rotarian Winnie and her troop of Rotaractors has brought it all together. You mentioned me, I really wasn't successful because I've had an injury, and I've I've had to stop doing certain things just the last month to heal my arm. And so Rotarian Winnie has really driven this whole project, and she's gained support from the Friends of Karura. So I'm really looking forward to this 21st of November. And Winnie, I volunteer for the Jerusalema. I do it every day and I love it. It is the path of God, so I think it's a beautiful song as well. So these are our 4 main projects that we've actually been delivering on or moving forward. And I'm very proud of that. In the pipeline and about to go forward are 4 other projects. Matibabu Foundation, where we're going to deliver 25 benches for a hospital in Western, which doesn't have any facilities for the visitors that come to the hospital. And so we're going to be delivering these 25 benches, and our Rotarian Shakil, who doesn't get out to Nairobi very often, but he is very much part of our club, is the lead on that. We also have the preparations going on for the Kajiado Wash project, and this is led by our PP Jessica, and a survey has been conducted, but now we are moving forward to work out the details of the costing of that project. So people are not sitting idle, even though we're not actually delivering on the ground. We are preparing all these projects. We also have the 90-year anniversary commemorative book project, which is being led by our Rotarian Rashmi, actually with Mike Eldon, PP Mike Eldon as well in it. And this is a very exciting project, and good progress is being made. Sorry, my internet might be a little bit weak. So we have the Kenya Rural Blindness Eradication 2 camps, which are always a commitment that Nairobi Club always makes. And our lead is our wonderful Rotarian Mukesh Joshi and PP Salim. Without them, we've been doing this for years and years. At the moment, it suggests that we might have alternatives if COVID is around for a long time. So that's under discussion. But should we get the go-ahead, we'll move forward very quickly. Global grant funding projects that are ongoing and are delivering are the Swedish Clean project, which is worth 2 million, again led by Rotarian Atia. And the board has agreed to continue these, and we have received half the funds for this. So we've almost got 1 million. And so we'll be ready to go the moment post-COVID allows it. We also have the COVID-19 training frontline health workers and hospital care. And this is being led by our, all the paperwork is being looked at the moment and being prepared. And this is a huge project and something that we should be very proud of at Nairobi Club. We also have the Bethany Kids wheelchair distribution. It has stalled because of COVID, but the funding, the preparation for the project is all ready, and this is led by our PP Sudesh and President Ritesh and myself. It's something very close to my own heart to help disabled children in this country. We also have Scholarship, which has already been approved. And the RCN is committed to raising 50,000 for this. So this is an ongoing project, and Dennis is going to be specializing in water sanitation and wash in his education. So CN feeding program at Mathari has been a very successful project led by the immediate past president, that's IPP, isn't it, Jessica? The project has been successfully delivered, and we're just waiting for the final reporting and financial disclosure to close this project. The funding for this came from America, the majority of it, and we're very proud of that, and part of it was from the Nairobi Trust. So going forward, very exciting times, and people are working on new projects that we're going to bring forward within this next 6 months. There's the Heirs Education Project led by IPP Jessica, and then President Ritesh. And they're exploring the parameters of this and starting to bring together a global grant funding project application. Then you have the Machakos boreholes, led by PP Githanga, that's Dr. Githanga, and Rotarian Justice. And the application is underway, and it has been stalled because there wasn't a proper community needs assessment done. You know, applications for global grants are very, very specific and very detailed. And so whatever we do apply for, project management is at the key and the heart of this. And I'll come back to this at the end to discuss why it's important and why Nairobi Club is, Rotary Club of Nairobi is so famous. It's because we have engaged with the right processes and the right project management style. There's also the Divine Favor School for uniforms, led by PP Sudesh, and they're exploring the parameters of this project with German partners, and an application will go in very soon. The Cherry School, and I think this is what our Rotarian Perry Ditch was talking about. There are 3 bids made for boreholes to be put together. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. And the US donors are waiting to find out when we're ready to go. And now I think Rotarian Perry Ditch has mentioned that the donors may be ready and waiting on us. We also have an interest from a German Rotary Club who would like to partner with us, very similar to what the Canadians are doing on SCORE. We haven't got an actual name for this project. We haven't even decided what the project is. I would encourage people, our Rotarians, if there are projects that you are very interested in personally and you understand that there's a need somewhere, please do come forward, because these are opportunities now for you to actually bring forward a project, because we are not all on the ground. Not everybody has community links, or they have very specific links. But that's really what a new Rotarian can do, is to bring it to the attention of the club, and please approach me and let me know, and then I will handhold you through how to apply, how to get approved by the community or for a global grant. Kanubai has given us $1 million shillings, and he wants it specifically for an eye project. It is we are seeking international partners and to initiate a global grant application for this now as well. So if anyone has any thoughts on this, partnership opportunities, please do come forward. Don't be shy, because this is the only way that things go forward. And we're going to, I'm going to let Dr. Mukesh speak at the end of my presentation about the alternatives. Dr. Mukesh, I've already mentioned you before you joined the presentation, that you have delivered for years and years 2 camps a year. I'm so grateful for this wonderful work, and that you have now started talking about alternatives. So we'll come to that. Oh, why is this? Okay, I want to talk a little bit now about the district. As I said, at the district level, I got some very interesting experience and understanding of the structure of how the Rotary Club actually works and how funding is generated, the structural apparatus that we have, and the opportunities therefore. And our new DG, the District Governor, Patrick Abath, and his team have put together a 3-year strategy plan at the district level. And the mission is to support and promote Rotary service. And as I said, it's a 3-year plan, and I want to talk about the implications for this for Rotary clubs. And the idea is to enhance the administration, the coordination, communication, and resource mobilization in order to optimize the opportunity that Rotary itself actually has. And the priorities are to increase the impact. Okay, this is district objectives, and I've brought out the highlights of their strategy plan just to let you know what we're doing. So increase the impact, to expand the reach of Rotary now, and then to enhance the participation and engagement of people, Rotarians and other partners, and then also to increase, sorry, I'll go back one. To increase the ability to adapt to new situations. And of course, new situations such as COVID-19 and our lockdowns, etc. We really needed to be adaptable, and we were. And one of the reasons why I bought into this strategy completely is because I've realized that structurally, the Rotary Club is in a phenomenal position to be able to do exactly and deliver on all these 4 objectives. These are not unrealistic. To make huge impact, to have huge outreach, and to participate and get more people engaging. As I said, I delivered over 3 months, sitting in my home, talking to so many wonderful Rotarians all across the country. We delivered 60,000, we delivered to 60,000 people food hampers and fed them. I mean, it's an incredible feat because we have the structure, we have the people, and we have the any of the 19 million shillings that went through food distribution was accounted for, and 53 Rotary clubs participated. So you can imagine the scale of this, and it happened without any formal structure being created. This was not a club. It was somebody said, can you do this? And then slowly, organically grew. But it wasn't me that did it. It wasn't the funders who did it. It was actually the Rotary structures. It was phenomenal. And so you can see at the drop of a hat, just with the will to do something good, we have a phenomenal opportunity. So how is this going to be structured, the delivery of the strategy? I just wanted to introduce this to you, that there's the DG, and he has a district programs chair and vice chair. And then you have district focus area chairs. So I'm going to tell you what a focus area is in a minute. And then you have a country focus area lead. I happen to be one of the country focus area leads, but it's not just myself. We should be very, very proud at Nairobi Club because our club has got many members who are engaged at the district level and are providing advice. They're advising, they're creating strategy, and they're creating those processes that are going to be able to deliver. So the strategy plan has 7 district focus areas. And as you can see, the first one is district health initiatives. And look at how many of our members are actually on this team, delivering at the highest level. So we have Vice President Josephine Odiambo, past President Anne Wanalwe, who is heading up cancer, a Rotarian Dr. Githan Magoha, and Professor Onyari. They're all leading teams at the district level on different various aspects of health initiatives. Our dearest President Ritesh is leading on district and water sanitation in his capacity and advising there. I personally am country chair lead for growing local economies. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then for the Environment Initiative, we have Rotarian Joanne Sikand, who's participating at the highest level in environment. And then we've got our President-elect, Gideon Akwabi, who is leading on all the Interact, Rotaract, youth exchange programs at the district level. So we should be very, very proud in our club that our members are so active. I want to just give you an example of how this project, the district strategy, is going to come and impact on our clubs. And I want to give you an example through the Growing Local Economies Initiative, which I am country chair for. And the idea is going to be that we create impactful infrastructure for one village. So we're going to adopt a village, and then in that village, we're going to try to increase the income, the savings, the jobs, and to reduce their costs. How are we? That's the mission. What are our objectives? We're going to deliver on this mission through microfinancing, through women empowerment, low-cost housing, and education. This could be reskilling, Jua Kali businesses. That's what I have been doing in the last 2 or 3 years in my other voluntary work, is to try and create opportunities for people to be reskilled. And in the 21st century, we're going to need this. But the most important part of a strategy is to recognize what are the goals, targets, and measurables. If you have a project, and it doesn't matter whether it's a large-scale project like this at local economies, or whether it's a small one of delivering a GECO in Gashia, you must have measurable deliverables. If you don't have measurables, you don't know when you've succeeded. And because we have a project approach, management approach, you need to know when a project is beginning and when a project is ending. And the measurables help you do that. You identify which are your key performance indicators, which tell you whether you're going in the right direction or not. So as country lead for the local economies, I said to everyone in the team, what you need to try to work out at the sub-area level is what kind of projects can we do and how are we going to measure them. So everyone has to know what the goal is for their project. What are the milestones, the key milestones that will show you that you are actually moving forward? And then how are you going to measure success? We all at Rotary must start thinking like this on an everyday basis, because that's the only way to remain accountable, responsible, and also able to deliver with great success and huge impact. Because remember, the first objective of the strategy is to deliver big impact, get greater participation. So what do? We have to describe the infrastructure that's needed to deliver this. Number one, how much money do you need? It's the key. And then what kind of infrastructure do you need to maintain that project or that impact in future? So there's a whole raft of questions that people have to answer before you can actually have a project approved. And this is not just for district level, this is the community services and even for global grants. These things are just standard practice and thinking. And the reason why I structured my presentation this way is because we've got a lot of new members, and I want them to understand the kind of language we're using and give them the courage to come forward and say, I'd like to learn how to do this, and this is the project that I care about, and then we will handhold you through it. But the most important thing I wanted to highlight was that there's going to be certain implications for this new district strategy. And the implications, let's go back. The implications for this district strategy at the club level is going to be quite huge. It's going to be big if we want to participate in the district strategy. Because what the district is trying to do is to create meta projects with global grant funding. Meta projects means adopting a whole village and then going through every single focus group in each one, maybe. That's one way of doing it. The other new structure that's probably going to start working, and this is something that we've really got to start thinking about, is delivering on programs through cluster working. So you bring together 5 clubs in a cluster, and they together will deliver on some meta project. or an aspect of Meta Project. So here we're talking about big shared networking, partnering kind of apparatus. And the reason why I highlighted what I had done in the food distribution was this is the new form of 21st century operations. You don't go and set up your own club or your own committee in some other geographic region. If there is a project that's happening in Kajiado, you, Kajiado, and the Rotary Club of Kajiado or somebody else from some other part of the country can come together and pool your resources to work together and deliver. And you have expertise in different areas. And so it's really about optimizing the quality of work that we're doing, optimizing the participation, because club working by yourself is a very old model and it has worked effectively. But in the 21st century, where things need to be moved faster and we need to be very careful how we allocate our resources, clustering of clubs to deliver is going to be a very new feature and a new way of operating. And I encourage it because, as I said, you're pooling your resources, whether they're human resources, financial resources, or geographic resources, is a very important part of delivering a project effectively and on time with the highest impact. And the third, I've got that, number 3, is each focus area is to identify key performance indicators and always make it a measurable project. This is another aspect of project management that really needs to become part of our culture. And so I encourage everybody to think these out carefully. And this is what the future is going to be for the next post-COVID era, if you think. And I hope that I've done justice to the district program, and our assistant governor will be able to highlight and answer certain questions as well. But I just want you to know how Rotary is moving forward and why I am really enthused and excited about it, because it meets the needs of the 21st century, technologically driven fourth wave globalization. That's why we can do projects with people from India and Indonesia and Australia and deliver here in Kenya. That's the way we must think. And I hope that that's inspired, informed, and I'm really happy to hear any questions that anyone will have. Thank you, President Ritesh. I'll put it back to you.
Thank you so much, Rotarian Anuja. You have really enlightened us, even as club members and also as visitors who have joined us today, to see the amount of work being carried out under community services and the various other directorial positions of the club. And I really would like to thank you and congratulate you on the incredible amount of work you're doing, not only within the club, but beyond, far beyond. Congratulations, you're a true role model. I would like to take this opportunity to please ask Dr. Mukesh Joshi, our honorary Rotarian and the leading ophthalmologist, to kindly share with us some thoughts he has about the eye camps. Dr. Joshi?
Thank you. Can you hear me, Ritesh?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank all the Rotarians who has given me moral support from my difficult time at Sarit Center, especially Rotarian like Mike Eldon, Manu Chandaria, Ritesh, and many more. Second thing, I've been an honorary Rotarian for last 34 years of this club. I've never seen our Rotarian that much switched on. Somebody like Anuja. Such a difficult time of COVID that we are facing, economical, mental, social, and look at the amount of energy. Anuja, congratulations and keep on doing. Now coming to the iCamp. Because of COVID, we can't do iCamp for nearly one year. But I've devised and I've got requests to our club that there are three major activities we can do in relation of avoiding the blindness. One is a corneal transplant by the laser. Corneal transplant by the laser is not available anywhere in Kenya or Africa. We are fortunate to have this technology, but it is relatively expensive device, so everybody cannot benefit. I'm ready to do free of charge for all the patients who are needy for laser-assisted corneal transplant. Number two, stem cells. Now, stem cells transplant is not done in our region, and I'm not expert in stem cells. I'm learning stem cells. So we have got a colleague from Italy who are expert in stem cells. They are ready to fly down and set up a stem cell laboratory so that we can do the stem cells transplant. Number three, now if there is a case where you just can't do anything, very bad cornea, we can't do corneal transplant. In such case, there is an artificial cornea, or what we call is a keratoprosthesis. The person who is completely blind, we can put this artificial cornea and give him ambulatory vision, not reading vision. That is not possible by doing stem cells. The device is known as keratoprosthesis. Here also, the expert can join me from UK or from Italy, from Europe, and we can do the keratoprosthesis project. So all this is a time-consuming project. I'm ready to give my time. I'm ready to use my facilities without any cost. There will be some cost for stem cells, keratoprosthesis, getting cornea from United States, but I'm ready. And again, congratulations to Ritesh, Anuja, amazing energy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joshi. Very kind words.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Joshi. Thank you, Anuja. This is very good news, especially Dr. Joshi. I'm very glad to know that these potential avenues are possible, and definitely Rotarian Anuja and the club members will definitely take this into consideration. And yes, we should champion on. So
Yeah.
thank you.
As I've said, Dr. Joshi, that any proposal for any project, and there are a lot of people who are dealing with communities, do come forward with your ideas, because now you see what you've mentioned are fantastic ideas. They have to now be translated into a project formation and identify KPIs, identify partnerships, and it's very possible. And there is a lot of energy and interest. And as I said, I'm going to start, and I have started identifying the people who are very good at translating your ideas into a project format, and then others who are very good at finding partners abroad. There are others who are very good at delivering on the ground. And therefore, this whole optimizing of our resources really where we've got to go. And this is the way forward. President Ritesh, is there time for me to answer these two questions that are on the chat?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. So I want to thank Dr. Hopkins, Michael Hopkins, very much for the paper that you've downloaded, you've put up. I've already downloaded it, and I shall certainly read it. And sorry, I don't know this methodology of the 3 M's because we haven't really dealt with it formally in Kenya. This also leads to your question about CSR 2% in India. I actually advocated for that. I'd say 10, 15 years ago, when I did my doctoral research, the beginning of my doctoral research, I happened to bump into people who are in power today in India. And they asked me, if we were in power today, what would you do, Anuja? And because I've been watching the growth of multinational corporations from India. And I thought, wow, if these guys can do this, they can do anything. They can actually also take on welfare and CSR. And that was the beginning of my journey to study. And so the people from the BJP asked me, what would you do? And without hesitation, I said I would impose 2% CSR, mandatory CSR on every single corporation. And you know, lo and behold, when they came into power, regardless of your politics, 6 months later, they announced this policy. So I am actually thrilled with it. Of course, it's now continued into my other research. And I was able to compare Kenya and India. And I didn't really compare, I just really on the ground wanted to see what was happening. There are a lot of lessons at Dr. Hopkins to be learned from India, things that have gone right and things that have gone wrong. Initially, it seemed like a very foreign concept. I can tell you in 2014, it was a very foreign concept. People didn't understand it. The corporations didn't understand it. Even the third sector didn't know how to engage. Today, India is leading on this policy formation, on this idea, and it's become part of their culture. It's become part of business culture in a way that is completely different from the global north, from the West. CSR, and you know, you and I have already had a little discussion on our Zoom call, that the CSR from the global north is coming from a very different starting position and therefore has organically grown in a particular formation. And I think its impact is less felt, less measurable, because it's a top-down approach, whereas CSR coming from India and from Kenya and from Nigeria is actually coming from a bottom-up approach. And this has a completely different impact because the community assessment that happens before the project is put together is actually really important. Whereas, you see, it's very simple. It's like Dr. Mukesh. I'll give you an example. Dr. Mukesh is suggesting we bring stem cell transplants into Kenya and let's bring it down and deliver it. We have absolutely no idea yet where this can happen, where it would be effective, where the resources are needed, right? So that's a kind of top-down approach. Whereas if from the bottom-up approach, if we had identified that people with degenerative eye disease and childhood, we can actually create stem cell transplants at between the age of 2 and 5, the example I'm making up, and we could do that, you know, we would save so many blindness cases. I work with Kilimanjaro Blind Trust, so I know that the percentage of impaired vision is very, very high in Kenya, extraordinarily high. If we could capture it at infancy, it would be so much better. So there's this top-down and bottom-up approach that I feel it reflects, and this is generalizations which are not always helpful, but if you have a top-down approach, you can often miss an opportunity. The bottom-up approach the need of communities and identifies the need before the financing, before you say which technologies we want to use. I've been approached by many companies and organizations from India and the UK who know I'm based in Kenya, saying, we'd like to do this, we'd like to do that, because this is their specialism. But the truth is, unless you come here and I understand this is the need of the community, you know, adapt your technology and your financing to that need, that's when you're going to have far greater impact. So I advocate for a global South approach, and I would advocate for 2% policy in Kenya. And I'm hoping through Mike Eldon and KEPSA at some stage to be able to do that. So I hope that that answers your question. I think they were both from Dr. Hopkins, yes. Dr. Mukesh suggests that India is still behind on CSR globally. Actually, that's not true. I think it depends on how you're measuring what CSR actually means. You see, when we talk about the funding of CSR from the global north, we're talking about very large amounts of money, right? So you can suggest that, you know, $1 million of CSR by a certain company is very big, whereas a $100,000 project in India is small. But you know, a global south approach, and what I advocate for, is about measuring the impact. It's assessing impact rather than assessing the quantity of money being used. And this is the difference between a global south approach and a global north approach, at least from where I'm seeing things. Okay, I think that's all the questions that have been ideas that have been raised.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Anuja. If I may just,
Please make a comment.
I don't want to interrupt if we're nearing the end,
No,
but
go
your
ahead.
presentation is clear as ever, and well, you know me. A lot of comments on a lot of issues. Lovely to chat with you one day about them. I think we're both going in the same direction. So, but funny enough, I've been against the 2% ever since it started in Mauritius. But I'm now part of the Indian Institute for CSR, and they've convinced me that, Michael, perhaps you've gone too far in opposing it. And hopefully that paper that I sent you will redress that a bit. But
yes,
we're also in the presence of somebody who I think is a great man, which is Dr. Joshi. I'm very impressed what he's doing around the country. And I think I don't want to take any more time, because my humble approach is far away from the great things that Dr. Joshi has been doing. And with your help, Anuja, and also with the Rotary, I think it's doing marvelous work. I perhaps just add one comment on this 3M methodology, which I introduced to the UN in New York in the 90s, when I was a chief evaluator, as it happens. Of course, I'm very keen on monitoring and evaluation and impact analysis and so on. But the macro, meso, micro of the 3M approach does take into account both the top down and the bottom up. But anyway, we don't want to get into those details. I think it's better if I stop there. But thank you very much for your excellent presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Rotarian Anuja. And I will now request past President Salim to kindly give a vote of thanks to our wonderful Community Service Director. Past President Salim.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Anuja, that has been really a wonderful presentation, and you have really gone into a lot of trouble to list out all the projects which we are having, whether it is ongoing or whether it is global grant. And again, you also covered the district, and we are indeed very grateful to you as an individual, as our Rotarian, for what you're doing for the community and the good name you're getting for our club. And also the challenge you have given to the Rotarians for any project they have to come forward, like what Dr. Mukesh has mentioned, good projects. Now it has to be actually implemented and brought forward. Anuja, thank you very much. We are indeed grateful to you.
And I will now request, I see Dr. Beatrice is with us. Dr. Beatrice, do you have stable connectivity? If so, I would like you to also say thank you to our wonderful Rotarian Anuja. Dr. Beatrice?
My apologies, I'm on the move and there may be quite a lot of noise in the background. I shall do my best nonetheless. I am extremely grateful to Anuja for indeed introducing me to the Rotary, but I think what is self-evident is she has also played a huge part as a role model for myself and for others amongst us, and we are in awe of your energy, Anuja. We are grateful for your thorough approach and your very exceptional attention to detail. We really applaud that, and thank you for taking the time to hold my hand and many others in guiding us towards a brighter future for the Rotary. So upwards and onwards, we cheer you to a greater list of achievements. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beatrice. And before we close the meeting, I would also like to say something to Rotarian Anuja. This is actually, it's been said by J.K. Rowling's, but after what Anuja has shared today, I would like to just read this out. The power of human empathy leading to collective action saves lives and frees prisoners. Ordinary people whose personal well-being and security are assured join together in huge numbers to save people they do not know and will never meet. Unlike any other creature on this planet, humans can learn and understand without having experienced. They can think themselves into other people's places. We do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. We have the power to imagine better. And I thought of this after listening to Rotarian Anuja, because after listening to you, Anuja, it's evident that we have the power with him and we can imagine better for the world. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rotarian Anuja. And before we close, I just have a message from our fundraising director, Rtn Rashmi, who wants to highlight that the Rotary Club of Nairobi book project has taken the shape of an ebook, the content for which is being collected by Dr. Margareta and Rotarian Rashmi. Dr. Margareta is the main point of contact for this ebook, and Rotarian Mike Eldon is sourcing content for it too. And later on, we will be editing it and perhaps taking out a print edition in case we find a sponsor for the same. So we encourage everyone to contribute. Thank you so much. And I will now read out the attendance. We have with us today Rotarians from Rotary Club of New River, Onslow, North Carolina. We have with us past President Colleen Bonadonna from Rotary Club of Kent, Virginia, USA. We have our Assistant Governor Gugi from Rotary Club of Kikuyu and President of Rotary Club of Nanyuki with us. If you have something to drink, I'd like you to please raise a glass. Alternatively, we can have our hand on the chest as we give a toast to Rotary the world over.
Rotary the world over.
Thank you so much. The meeting is officially closed, and I will request Rotarian Anuja to please stay back a few more moments in case anyone has further questions. And our meeting next week is a very interesting and entertaining meeting. We have coming with us next week is Rakesh Anand Bakshi, who is an author, scriptwriter, film director, and we have a media partner, East FM from Radio Africa Group next week. It's going to be an entertaining talk about his books, which highlight all the journeys of the directors of Bollywood film industry towards their first film, as well as he's going to highlight some thoughts about writing, as his father as well was one of the most prolific and legendary lyricists in Bollywood film industry. And he's also going to bring along a singer who's going to entertain us. So we look forward to the meeting next week. And the floor is open to questions. Any questions? Dr. Margareta, Rotarian Nicodemus? Winnie? Past President Muhammad Ali giving a thumbs up.
We don't We don't necessarily have to have questions, you know. This was just a